let's talk about one of the biggest myths about the EB-1A visa, and that is that you need publications in order to apply. So I'm going to break down and debunk that myth and tell you the reality and the truth. My name is Priya Alighieri. I'm an immigration attorney. I have been working in immigration law for over 15 years, and my law firm focuses on EB-1A visas for engineers. So let's go back to this publications myth. The first question most applicants ask me is, do I need publications? Or they start off our consultation saying, oh, but I don't have any publications. So the online EB-1A content talks about publications a lot. And it just bills and bills and bills. But publications is one of 10 criteria, right? But most importantly, it mostly applies to researchers and academics and scientists, not engineers. So it is, the EB-1A visa is predominantly known as an avenue for researchers or scientists, right? It just has always gotten a lot of buzz around that. And academics, researchers, scientists, they do need publications. Not only do they need publications, they need a lot of citations. But not for engineers. Engineers do not need to have, especially engineers in private industry, do not need to have publications. It's not something in your scope of duties. It's not what you do. It is what researchers, scientists, academics do. And a lot of the content online for the EB-1A visa will talk about publications. Disregard that because you're an engineer. And let me tell you which criteria do apply to engineers and what I've seen most often. And the 4 out of the 10 criteria that I see most often with engineers is compensation, role, original contributions, and judging. So if you have at least one of the, 3 of those 4, and you can make a case that you meet the requirements, then you should definitely apply for the EB-1A visa. Do not let this, this narrative about publications, scare you off from the EB-1A visa. And if you are familiar with the criteria, I'm just going to, briefly discuss each one that I think most engineers qualify for. It's compensation. So if you can show that your compensation is higher relative to others in your field, you should add compensation to your application. It's probably one of the most underused criteria for the EB-1A. Judging, probably the criteria that you have most control over as an engineer is judging. As long as you can demonstrate that you conducted evaluations or reviews of technical documents, of course, scholarly papers, that's the classic. But if you can show that you conducted kind of detail, outcome determinative evaluations of, scholarly articles or technical kind of papers, then you would meet judging. And role, if you have a leading or critical role and you're working at a well-known organization, or you can make a case that that your organization is distinguished, you should definitely apply for the role criterion. And then finally, original contributions of major significance. I've done a lot of videos about this criterion. It is probably the one that the Immigration Service doesn't fully understand, and it can be confusing. You know, what is an original contribution? What is major significance? And lately, the Immigration Service has focused on significance. So oftentimes they'll agree that whatever you developed, discovered, invented is novel, is original, but they want to know how influential it is or has been. So kind of, you know, if you invented something that's novel or groundbreaking and then, you know, it's not implemented or used or relied upon, then that's not going to meet the criterion. So again, I've done a lot of videos on that criterion specifically, and the Immigration Service focuses on significance. So there you have it. If you don't have publications and you don't have citations, do not worry about it. That is a myth. And so I hope this video was helpful. I hope that if you meet, you know, the other 9 criteria other than publications, you will definitely consider the EB-1A visa. Don't hesitate to contact us.